The Nuggets lose to the Chicago Bulls 121 to 129. The Denver Nuggets refuse at every point in time in this game to play defense. They refuse to step out on the 3-point line. And the Denver Nuggets, the story of the game, the Nuggets scored 84 points in the paint, but they give up 24 of 53 from the 3-point line, and they lose the 3-point line by 54 points. And that's your game. The Denver Nuggets won the Jokic minutes barely, but they lose the non-Jokic minutes to start the fourth quarter by 13 points. They were actually 11 points. The Denver Nuggets were up 96 to 95 going into the fourth. And from the 12-0-0 mark to 9 minutes and 14 seconds, the Nuggets with Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, Peyton Watson, Julian Strawther. That unit scored 0 points, and they gave up an 11-0 run to start the fourth. And now Jokic is back in the game down 10. This was an embarrassing performance, and I'm almost tired of saying that this year. I think everybody in Nuggets Nation is over the losses to the Blazers, over the losses to the Bulls, over the losses to the Wizards. I think people are just, they're up and done with how awful this team can look defensively. And Jokic tonight, this is the thing that drives me crazy. The Denver Nuggets are obviously going to have to build a defensive unit around Joker. Joker's the best offensive player in the league. I think he might be the best offensive player ever. Tonight, your MVP gives you 33 points, 12 rebounds, 14 assists on 15 to 21 from the field. And he had really 2 heaves in this game from 3. You win the minutes by +1. He was overpassing 100% in the third quarter because the way it felt, I don't even know if Joker realized how serious things got because he was still trying to force passes out of the post to Christian Brown. But for whatever reason, it took until the end of the third for Jokic to really start turning up again. Joker dominated the first half, dominated this game, but when it comes to the defensive end, this team mailed it in. And I'm going to be real specific. Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, Russell Westbrook, Jamal Murray, Christian, I'll give credit to. Christian today had 28 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists on 11 of 15 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3, 4 of 4 from the free throw line. He was a +1 in his minutes. Russell Westbrook generally played really well, 14, 3 and 5, 6 of 10 from the field. He was a +6. Michael Porter also won his minutes, 18 and 7. The numbers look fine, but if you actually turn on the tape, they repeatedly on the perimeter absolutely would bail on rotations. They would get lost on screens weak side, and you would get multiple possessions in one play on multiple possessions where they would get repeated shots in the corner from Zach LaVine in the corner. And this is in the first half. This was an abysmal performance, and I think I am just at the point where, look, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I told everybody on Twitter that I have some takes. If they have Michael Porter Jr. on this roster by the 6th of February at 3 p.m., I'll know that they're just ready to be a second-round exit this year. They're accepting that. They're going to hedge their bets on their ceiling. The Denver Nuggets ceiling is what I'm tired of looking at. They're good enough to win a championship. They can be because their ceiling is that. But their floor is demonstrably lower than what it should be. And I think that's facts. I don't think there's anybody that can defend that. The Denver Nuggets floor is one of the absolute lowest of anybody among anyone that's trying to win a championship because their defense can literally fall off the face of the earth. And again, Joker, you get criticism for the last game versus the Wolves. I get it. But this is what I'm not going to do. It's what his job is. I know what the collective team's job is. I know how roster construction works. You have to, if you have players that are not apex defenders and you need to protect them, you put defenders around them. If you have players who are offensive liabilities, Rudy Gobert, and you want to help them thrive, you put offensive players around them. That's what this is. And I think it's silly to me that the Nuggets are continuing to try to force this thing, man. Like, I just don't think you can do it. Christian Braun, I think, is an incredible player. I think he played incredible today. I think he's had an incredible season, but he's clearly not the defensive piece that you need continually. Michael Porter Jr. can't guard anyone. It's just, it's not even like I've seen him strap up in playoff settings for sure. But Porter, he ended up having a good game, but Porter was stinking. He was 2 of 8 from 3 today, and he missed like 3 wide open threes that ended up costing at the end. This is another game back-to-back where Porter phased out. Again, into it 18-7. That's right on his league average. Jamal Murray today, 18, 6, and 6. He was 8 of 20. He took the second most shots on the team. He had a good last stretch of the game, but he was a minus 16 for a reason. Murray couldn't do anything at the top of that fourth quarter. Again, Murray's in the game. It's 11-0. It's 11-0 run for the Bulls, and he couldn't do anything about it. First half, they actually had like a nice little stint. They did, but that second stint was horrible. Like, I just think at some point in time, we have to live in reality, and the reality is that this team doesn't have, and here's the thing, like, this is the thing I disagree with Nuggets fans about. Like, Zach LaVine today, if you look at the box score for Zach LaVine, he ends up with 21 points, 6 assists, and 3 rebounds, but he was 5 of 10 from 3, 6 of 13 from the field, and he had 4 turnovers, right? But Zach LaVine absolutely is a bucket getter, and he got the buckets. He got the possessions to win them the game at the end of the game, including, for whatever reason, Christian Braun and Russell Westbrook. They're down 3 points, and their hands are both down because they're getting ready to hand off Zach LaVine at the top of the key. And very similar with the Anthony Edwards thing, they just don't have the personnel to guard guards consistently. And I don't think that, and like, that's what I'm saying. Like, that shouldn't be Russ's primary responsibility because he can't do that consistently. And then Christian Braun, he literally cannot do that to be a shutdown POA defender consistently. That's not what he does. So if that's the case, then what do you need to do to fortify that? Like, and again, everybody knows I've been talking about Ayo Dosunmu for I don't know how long, over a year. Tonight, Ayo, not even the scoring that matters the most to me. He hit 17, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2. 2 turnovers today, 6 of 13, 4 7 from 3. Fine. He was a plus 20 today. That led the entire Bulls in plus minus because he literally defensively was getting in people's shirts at times. He was sliding his feet. He has speed off ball, speed on the ball. He was able to do things to help them make impact plays. Now, a lot of that was obviously when Joker wasn't in the game, which is cool. But this is what they need. You don't have that kind of player, so how can you – I'm telling you, man, I just like the Rockets have beaten Cleveland in back-to-back games, and they just beat the Celtics. Like, regular season, they're for sure better than the Nuggets. And I don't think they're better in the playoff series per se, but like, okay, well, they're at the bottom of the list of teams that I think you got to worry about. The Clippers with Kawhi Leonard are going to be there. You're going to have to deal with OKC with Shea. You're going to have to deal with Luka and Kyrie. And again, they have matchups that are favorable, and we've seen them being able to lock in and defensively do what they got to do. But I'm tired of like, I think everybody should just kind of be in a state where this team needs real defenders on the roster, and they have to lock in and do their job. Peyton Watson, I don't think was good enough today. He was running out on 3-point shooters and flying by, and I just had, for the life of me, no idea why he was doing that. Like, as currently constructed, you all, I think the means for this team, like the median range for this team is a second round exit. But on the other end of this, the floor of this team is they run into the worst matchup possible in the first round and they're out. And it has nothing to do, it's just everything to do with their defense. Like, they just don't have the connected pieces. The ceiling is a championship. But I'm just sick. Like, Michael Malone, he just got done with the coach's interview. And I mean, at this point too, I'm also like, I know Malone needs to do better. Like, I think he left Jokic out of the game too long, like for 100%. Like, I thought he should have been back in when they got down like 6 or 7 instead of 10. That would have made the difference. Let me share this with y'all, man. I'm so over this. Like, I think this team is ridiculous. I think they think they can just walk into it, and they're gonna luck into it and they'll be better. Here's Michael Malone. Let me know if y'all can hear this.
Yeah, just once again, us messing with the game, thinking that we could just show up, score at will. You tell them all morning, this team's going to run, this team's going to run, this team's going to run. And our inability or unwillingness to get back, our inability or unwillingness to guard one-on-one, and our inability or unwillingness to rebound the basketball when
Make
they
sure
did
if
miss,
y'all can hear
the
that,
times
please
they
let me know.
missed was on full display.
Was it mostly rebounding? You saw that stretch at the start of the fourth for the second unit. It seemed like they were able to cash in just broken play threes.
Yeah, it was just one-on-one basketball. We couldn't guard one-on-one. They just beat us at the point of attack over and over and over again. And when they did miss, we had 5 guys just standing, watching.
So again, I want to reiterate that point. Michael Malone is saying what I am also saying. They're getting beat at the point of attack, which is at the level consistently. Guards and wings. I've said this, umpteen times. Guards and wings on this roster have to defend. You have to sit down and you have to stay in front of your man. It is irresponsible for Aaron Gordon, Porter, Murray, Russ, Strother, whoever, to continue to get beat off the dribble or off of pump fakes. It is too much. And Malone is saying the exact same thing.
And not in the fight at all. And that team played so much harder than us. Really, really disappointing. Doesn't get any easier as we go to New York, a team that put up 145 in our building. So we'll watch film and challenge guys to be better.
See, Malone is over it. Like, I can feel this energy. Malone is like, this is beyond anger at this point. This is like, he's what else? It's almost like, what else do y'all want me to do? I've told you about this. He said, I told you about this going into the game. I told you about this the day before. We've talked about this in multiple games. You come out in the Wolves game and you play 0 defense versus the 14th ranked offense in the sport. And then you come out versus the Bulls, play 0 defense versus a team that hasn't been able to win anything consistently. You come out in back-to-back games after being 12-3, playing good defense. You have a chance to continue to make a move up the Western Conference, and you just bottom out versus the Wolves. Makes no sense. You don't have enough defenders on this team that care about that end of the court, and that is what's sickening. It cannot be that way. It can't be that way. You have to fortify your best players. And they can't do anything about Jamal. So Jamal is going to continue to play this year. I think he's played better as of late. But the issue is the same thing I've been talking about for the entire year. They have to find players that want to defend. They have to find players that want to lock in and do the small things every single game. Keith, I want to say that I hear what you're saying. This is, and I don't know if you missed it. I already said, let me make it clear. Look at me. The Nuggets can win the title, but they're also, because their floor defensively is so low, that can also be out in the second round, because you have to be able to do small things on the defensive end and do things consistently on the defensive end to win games, win possessions, win quarters. And this team, among all my contenders in the league, Cleveland, Boston, the Thunder, the Mavs, and the Nuggets, those are my 5. They have the worst defensive ceiling of all of those teams. That's a problem. They have the highest offensive ceiling of all those teams. That's good. But you saw tonight, Jokic had literally one of his, 15 best games of the year, 33, 12, and 14, had a 75 true shooting, and guess what it meant? Nothing. Zilch. Nada, because you can't guard anybody. And not only, here's the thing. This is the thing, Keith. This is why this is so frustrating. Because it's not about can you do it, will you do it? And they said no. Will you do it? Will you sit down? Will you play defense? The answer was no. That's the problem. The answer was I'm not going to do it. And Malone is addressing this right here. Malone is saying this.
Where did you feel like they struggled tonight?
Didn't have much productivity. Obviously, only 10 points.
10 points off the bench is what he's referencing.
Not very efficient, obviously, in terms of our numbers within their play. But that group's got to give us a spark, some energy, some juice.
The bench unit.
But everybody, it was just team-wise. We win as a team, we lose as a team, and we, as a collective unit, we're not anywhere close. We should have been up 20 at halftime, but we messed with the game. You let a team hang around. And in that third quarter, going into the fourth quarter, they just literally just drove the ball down our throats and rebounded and went drive and kick three.
Drive and kick three.
Ball or wouldn't get back.
So this is also my pushback. Listen to this.
Literally just drove the ball down our throats and rebounded and went drive and kick three. All because we couldn't guard the ball or wouldn't.
All right. I want to note this because I said this. There was Ryan Blackburn, my dog, mentioned that Jokic isn't closing out the Vooch. And so that's why a part of the reason why they're getting killed. And I'm like, no, this is what I'm saying. Vooch was 2 of 7 from 3, I believe, in this game. He ended up 2 of 9 from 3. Jokic wasn't running out because if you run out versus a non-shooter in this instant, that person then drives, and then because the rotations were so bad backside, they were going to get beat. So Jokic just said, the best thing that I can do in this situation is just to give a nice contesting closeout and then hope he misses, because if I get beat and he pump fakes me and gets beat past me, it's over around the perimeter. And that's exactly what happened today. Malone is telling you what the deal is. They're not good enough. They're not good enough around the edges, on the perimeter, and at the wings defensively. I don't get it. I think that this team, I think their perimeter guards are not good enough. I think their wing defenders are not consistently good enough. This is not about now. Here's the thing: the Nuggets can lock in. They have since January. They have locked in. That's what's so frustrating. Where did this come? Why do y'all just oscillate? Why do you just disappear as a team? Like, I'm looking through January right now. They were doing so well. The Nuggets are 10-4 this month. The Nuggets are 8th in defense. They've slipped. They were doing so well. The Nuggets are 10-4 this month. They have played so well. They're 3rd in net rating after being 2nd in net rating by OKC. And then the last 2 games, they have sucked. Last 2 games. Listen to this. The Denver Nuggets, the last 2 games, have given a 127.2 offensive rating. That is despicable. Despicable. Prior to that moment, the Nuggets were playing like an elite basketball team. That's what they were doing. Prior to that moment, the Nuggets looked great. Prior to Saturday, the 25th, the Denver Nuggets were 10-3 with a 110 defensive rating, which was good for 5th in the NBA, and they were good enough for a 121.6 offensive rating after they beat the Kings. And then ever since that point, the Nuggets have absolutely given up playing basketball on that end. And Aaron Gordon can't play defense right now. Again, I don't know if it's his calf. He said he's good to go. Aaron Gordon is saying he's healthy, but that's not what's happening. So I don't know. Whatever they were doing prior to Saturday, they need to get back on it. It's that simple. They need to get back on it. Swipe again. Y'all know what time it is. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Y'all know what time it is, y'all. See y'all on the other side.